Hello friends, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I did this beautiful gray blending on my client Adriana. So it has been about 4 months since we did any lightening. You can see the grow out there. She's got really strong natural silver right on the hairline, and then as soon as you go past the hairline, it is just dark. But then toward the back of the hair, she has a lot of silver. So I just like to do her front and give her that really bright face frame to blend everything else together, and it works out perfectly. When I first started doing her hair, like 5, maybe 6 years ago, it was a whole color correction. So to be where we are now is amazing. But I am just going to follow this around. And as you can see, I prepped her with the K18 mist, and that's going to keep her hair nice and healthy. But we are just going to follow around her hairline, starting here at the bottom. And I'm taking super fine sections and then just weaving out my dark pieces. And then we are going to paint that lightener on all of the new virgin growth. So this time I am using Schwarzkopf lightener and developer. It is my second choice because Cosmoprof was sold out of Danger Jones. It has become so popular that apparently everybody's buying it out. So we are just going to work around her hairline here and fold that up nice and tight so we don't have any slipping. So I'm really only going to do a couple foils here. And then we're gonna skip that little mid area around her temple because she has a lot of natural silver already there. But you can see my super fine weaved section. I took out all of those dark pieces that I could find, and I'm just really gently painting that lightener over anything that's dark. And you can see how close to the scalp we want that. And once again, gonna do my tri-fold and close it up. So these are the only 2 foils that I'm gonna do down there. And then we are going to follow her hairline once again. And I'm just gonna be taking a super fine weaved section right on her hairline at that like diagonal almost. And you can see I weaved out those darker pieces, and we are just painting that new growth and any darker pieces that I didn't get the last time. So I really like to alternate when I foil. So I'll take the hairs that I didn't lighten the time before and lighten those this time. And then that way you know that you're kind of getting everything as it grows out, and you're not going to have any super long dark hairs mixed in. And we are going to tri-fold that and close it up nice and tight. And once again, going back, following that hairline, taking super thin, nice weaved sections. And you can see that I left out that front bit of white hair because I don't need to lighten that. It's already super white and beautiful. I'm just trying to take all of these dark ones and blend those in. But we are just going to paint all of that virgin growth, get it really nice and saturated and really close to the scalp because you don't want to have any bleed lines, any harsh lines. We want it to look really natural. We don't want it to look like highlights. Tri-fold so it doesn't slip and fold it up. And this is super simple. We're really not going to need to do that many foils. There was like 16, I think, through her entire head, just around the face frame. But once again, taking that really small section, sticking with her hairline at that diagonal, and painting all of that new growth. I apologize for the lighting. I don't know why it gets so bright sometimes. But you can see I've got that foil. I use my 2 fingers to really hold that foil in place if I need to, because you really don't want to have any slipping. We are doing all the front of her hairline, so any mistakes, they are gonna see them. And we just have a couple more foils here on this side. Once again, I am taking super fine sections. I weaved out my pieces, and now I am foiling and painting. I know I've said thin several times, but I cannot stress enough how important it is to take super, super fine sections, especially when you are going silver or platinum. If you are taking a really thick section of hair, one, it's not going to process evenly, and two, it's not going to get as light as it would if you would have taken a really small section. You have much better control, you have even lifting. I just think it works much better. So for a color like silver, you need to lift your client to a level 10. So Adriana has naturally black, pretty coarse hair. So we really have to lift her really, really light to like platinum level 10 inside of a banana peel. So that's why these super tiny sections are so, so important. But we are just moving to the other side now, and I'm taking my little baby section and painting out that hairline, folding it up. And I'm doing the same thing on this side. She really only needs 2 right here. And then I kind of skip that little temple area and go right in for her fringe curtain bangs. And I'm just painting all that dark, moving the light hairs out of the way so that they don't get smashed up into the lightener, doing our tri-fold, and it is secured. Now, once again, sticking with her hairline, she has that like diagonal almost. So it's like a V shape. And I cannot recommend enough to follow your client's hairline, because not everybody's hairline is going to be the same. So therefore, not every foiling technique is going to be the same. It is really important that you don't try to put yourself in a box and think, well, I have to foil it this way because this is the way I was taught in school, or this is the way the video told me. If your client's hairline does not work with a certain foiling technique that you saw, then you have to learn how to go around it and create your own. So Adriana has more of a V. A lot of people have more of a straight or rounded, but you really want to stick with that natural hairline. And I am just painting all of that dark, getting it really saturated because I don't want to see any yellow or black or anything. We want this to be platinum blonde. And my blonde hairs are out of the way, covered by the tri-fold. And we are going to secure and lock that in place. Next section, once again, super, super tiny. I cannot stress it enough. I will keep repeating it. Super thin sections is the only way you are going to get these perfect platinum silver results, especially on somebody with black hair. So we are just going to rub that in, and then usually I get my OCD and realize that I haven't put enough lightener on, so I go back in with more. But I just am saturating it so we don't have any surprises later, and then closing it up. These are also the Framar foils. I love them. I always have fun foils, and I really like pretty much every brand, but just something about the Framar foils and the thickness of them, I feel like they stay in place really well, and so they are probably my favorite foil brand. So shout out Framar. But I've just got a couple more sections here. We are going to paint that lightener on and do our tri-fold, securing that with the comb. Once again, super tiny section, following that hairline. Everything has been weaved. I'm picking out all those dark pieces and painting them down. Moving out the blonde, tri-fold, and secured. And then we are to our last section, weaved out those dark pieces. And we are going to paint that lightener on. And we are finished with our foiling. So when it comes to silvers, I will almost always double tone them because the first one is going to cancel out all the yellow and the second one is going to give you the silver you want. So I am using the new Danger Jones Artistic Toners to pre-tone her using silver and violet blonde. These are super fast acting, high speed, progressive toners, so you really don't need them on for more than a few minutes. But we are going to pull all of our foils. Look at that gorgeous blonde. I'm so excited to show you guys. Beautiful. And we are just gonna wash out that lightener. I already pulled those little side hairline ones with my bleach blender gloves, but now we are washing it all out. And then after I wash, I like to do the K18 Detox Shampoo. This is going to get out all the lightener and just chemicals, anything that's hiding in her hair, get it really nice and clean. And then after I do that, I am going to get her artistic toner and paint that on. So we are gonna apply this really fast. Normally I don't like to apply toner at the wash bowl, but because it was just around her hairline, I can see it really good. I am definitely a apply at the chair kind of a person because I really like to have control. I don't wanna be bent over a wash bowl in all sorts of different directions. So this is really the only time that I will tone at the bowl is if it's like just right around the front. But I am brushing on that artistic toner and then combing it through. You can already see it changing colors. This stuff works so fast. It is amazing. And I would just use the Danger Jones Artistic Toners by themselves with just the silver for her. But because they are brand new and they don't really have like a deeper charcoal tone, just the bright silver, I have to do a second tone using my Davines brand. But I'm sure Danger Jones will be coming out with a charcoal soon. And in the meantime, this is a perfect pre-toner. But I'm really only going to let that sit for a few minutes. You can already see how much it's toning her. So let's get our second one ready. This is 20 grams of steel from Davines, and this is charcoal. It is strong. So I put about 2 grams of that charcoal mixed in with it, and then the 10 volume developer. I'm prepping her up first with the K18 leave-in mask. That's going to keep her hair nice and healthy and get it prepped for her toner. And now I am just going to paint on that Davines toner. Now, this one is not a progressive or a high-speed toner, so it's just a regular demi-gloss, and it's going to have to sit for 25 minutes. So I think that's the only downside to them. I absolutely love the tone of the Davines Silvers, but I just hate the 25-minute processing time, especially when there's so many rapid high-speed ones now, but that's okay. I will survive. We are just going to paint that on and really, really saturate it. And comb those sections nice and clean and just really lay that on there. And then I kind of just put it through the rest of her hair too. It doesn't, she doesn't really need it too much toward the back, but sometimes natural grays and silvers can yellow. So either way, I just kind of like to brush it through. And then the rest of her hair gets that really nice charcoaly tone as well. And we know there's no yellow anywhere. One more dose of the K18 mask. Oh, look at how pretty the silver is already. I can see it. And after the K18 mask sits in for 4 minutes, we are going in with the new K18 volume mist. This stuff smells so good and it's so amazing. This is my Leaf and Flower 7-minute blowout, which is going to help speed up dry time, and as well as the Leaf and Flower frizz remedy spray. That one is going to reduce frizz in her hair for up to a few washes. It's amazing. And then I just like to flat wrap her curtain bangs a little first because they kind of go a little crazy. And then I come in with my round brush and shape them. Look at how beautiful. I always like to blow dry the front first so they can see it as well and make sure that they love it. And she does. So pretty. All right, now we are going to blow dry the rest of this, and then you'll get to see the after. So gorgeous. I love how natural it looks. I'm also using an Olivia Garden round brush and my Dyson blow dryer. And this is my Babyliss curling iron. And we are just gonna do some light beach waves. Also, I pronounced this Babyliss forever, and then I heard it was Babyliss. I don't know, but either way, that's the brand of the curling iron. I don't know if I'll ever pronounce it right, but I think it's Babyliss. But we are just gonna do those beautiful beach waves, and here is her after. Perfectly beautiful blended silver. It looks so natural, and we really only had to do those little bit of pieces in the front, and then it looks so perfect with the rest of her hair. Thank you so much for watching this video, friends. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment letting me know what you'd like to see next. See you later.